It is a scam when you don't allow everyone to operate on fair terms.
We are the Robin Hoods of sports betting. We take something back from the rich bookies and enable our customers to beat them instead.
And you've sent me your results, mate. And I think one of the biggest things I can take from that is that it's just lots of volume, lots of bets being placed, kind of similar to what we have at Trademate Sports with an ROI of around 2.5%. When your ROI is that number, then it's just all about the volume, isn't it? So can you explain exactly why you've taken that approach to your betting, the volume approach?
Yeah, well, to me, like as a sports bettor, opportunity is like really valuable. Like the more bets we place with a positive expected value, we compress the effect that variance has on our results. And that's really valuable when you're working in a career where your pay is, really not guaranteed. Your paycheck's not guaranteed at the end of the week or the end of the month. So thanks to a high volume approach, my betting partner and I haven't had a losing month since July of 2019. So when you have an edge on a game, you want to be able to capture that. If you and I, like for as cliche as an example as this is, if you and I bet on a coin flip and I offer you odds of 2.4 on either side, you'd probably do anything to play that game at those odds and simulate it as many times as possible because your expected value is about 20% of your stake. So the reason why I much volume as possible is because I'm able to capitalize on as much opportunity within each like betting session and then maximize my earning potential, because when you take volume and combine it with positive expected value, that's a formula for a lot of money.
We had a tipster on two weeks ago, Aaron Hennessy, sorry, and he was talking about how he'd rather use his own opinion to judge whether he's found value or not, rather than looking at a closing line or what other metric you want to come up with. What would you say about that?
I mean, if he's talking about a small league, I can say he's possibly right. But I mean, a lot of the major stuff like EPL or NBA or NFL and all that stuff, there's no subjectivity there. The closing line is as objective as it gets. So if anybody tells me like they're going to go on their own opinion, and they're talking about, not beating the EPL closing line, but they're still going to be profitable, I'm sorry, like I can't agree with that opinion, just because I've bet over 20, 30,000 games now, and I've just seen a lot, and I know that the closing line is the holy grail of being a profitable sports bettor. If you can beat the closing line consistently, even in smaller markets like tennis, I know that there's people out there that are not necessarily beating the closing line with every match that they bet on, but even majority of their sample, they beat the closing lines, and that's the reason why they're profitable.
Let's talk about the US market then, mate. And how's the legality side of it tracking at the moment? I mean, last time I checked, I might be wrong, is it about 15 states it's legal in at the moment?
Yeah, I think give or take, but I mean that number is going to skyrocket in my opinion, because I think with the U.S. betting market, we're kind of headed in a positive direction, and that's because of this pandemic. So like the states are kind of in a scramble because they have all this money that they have to make up, but they can't just directly charge people and say, hey, we're taxing you for this and that. So they have to do it as painlessly as possible. And one of the outlets for them to do that is via sports betting. Because with legal sports betting, it's in every state's interest to add that into their state, because they're able to, get that tax revenue in. And even a state like California, who's been opposed like to gambling for like the longest time, just like produced like a sports betting bill as an effort to help their budget deficit, because I think it's at like $50 billion because of this coronavirus. So, I mean, we should see, but in my opinion, legal sports betting looks like it will have a bright future here in the United States.
Yeah, so you think the pandemic's only going to skyrocket how quickly this happens?
Oh yeah, because I mean, it historically will repeat itself. after every type of financial crisis like this or any economic crisis, sports betting always thrives within the years to follow.
Can you speak about like what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of betting from America, in comparison to Europe, Australia, Asia, these kind of places?
Well, I mean, of course, the market differs. I have a really good friend that bets out of Australia, and like some of the things he gets are crazy, and then some of the things I tell him I get are like crazy. So like, we both understand that there's diversity across like different countries, but majority of the sports books here in the United States, especially in Las Vegas, have more of a limited menu, and the offerings are much less than what they are in other countries. However, like some of the states on the East Coast, like New Jersey, are offering more of like a diverse menu now, so they're kind of adopting that European market offering. So maybe we'll catch up to that soon. But of course, like we have obviously a lot of physical sports books here with a lot of seating and big screens and monitors here in Las Vegas. So I'm not sure if that's something that is around in Europe and Australia. I mean, not that I'm aware of, but one thing that I would say about betting in America is that there is like a governing body that regulates the betting market. So as a sports bettor, if you can find like inefficiencies and place a bet that has massive value, you don't have to worry about your bet getting voided. So that's definitely an advantage of the bettor here in the United States, because the sports books can't like free roll you on a line error. Like let's say you get a massive value and then the match starts and you're ahead by a big margin, and then the sports book sends you an email or something saying, "Hey, we're going to cancel your bet after that." So like you don't really get that in Vegas. It is what it is. If you get something good, that's it. It sticks.